Morning. So I think the last video I sent to you, I've already verified all this. So we are performing what we call aggregate analysis with aggregate functions such as sum and counts, mean for average, and the rest of them. But if you carefully look at those analyses, they were one conditional aggregation. That is, you were analyzing with one condition, where one condition is stated. For example, we analyze, for example, let's assume we are asked to summarize the values under total based on city, which means the only criteria for the summation of the values here is the selected city. For the ones we are diving into this morning are still under data aggregation function, but we shall be looking at more than one condition for data summary. For instance, if we are asked to summarize the values here based on city and for only female, that is two conditions. So the focus of this morning's section is on how to use Python aggregate function for multiple criteria analysis. And this falls under advanced application, just like I said, where you have count, sum, but now we are looking at the one with if. The one with if. S, about equivalent to some ifs in Excel. So the question we want to answer here is analyze the total number of transactions made by cash where gender is equals to female. Let's assume we are asked to analyze that. Use comments. We analyze total sum. Analyze total sum. Where payment is equals to cash and gender is female. Let's assume we are asked to do this. So our variable, first you have to create your variable. Let's say some ifs. I'm just using that as a variable, it's not a function. And then of course you call the current data claim. Let me assign this to a variable. Let's say DA. Let's say DA is equals to, let me run this so you have to be registered as DA. Now for me to see it, I just have to type DA. All right, so my data set name is DA, so I put DA here, concatenating DA with the function or query. as usual. And then being a function, it will carry the parenthesis bracket. Then after that, you open single quotation that is going to enclose all the strings. So remember the first part says we are summarizing what we have under total based on payment type first, and then where the gender is equals to. So to avoid typographical error, the first criteria, which is payment, or which is cash or e-wallet, is under this picture. So I will just copy it and then paste it here. Now, I will use the equals to sign to show that it's equals to. Then the cash, you use double quotation. Remember, we have already used single quotation. So the way it is written in the data set cash, so that is for the first criteria. Now, the function, the analysis says the criteria for summing the value under total is based on the selected payment method and the selected gender, which we have specified to be female. So I need to specify, I will just do space and then say and I'll also get the feature with the second criteria, which is this. This is where I probably have my female, which is going to be the second criteria. So, and as usual, I will paste it there. Then that is also equals to then female, the way it's spelled in your data set. Female. Now, what you have done here, you have only defined the columns that have your criteria value. Now you need to select that particular column with the, you have to select that particular column with the numbers to be added up. So you concatenate it. You just use your square bracket to select it. And then the column that have the value you are summing once the two criteria are met is the total. So why I'm copying it is so that I will not make mistake in typing. So now, what you have done here, you have only selected the column with the number because the sum, the function we are about to use, which is sum, cannot sum string. So all this string specification is just the condition that will be used to look for values under total and add them up. So now this is a session where you now add the function for the operation, which is dot sum. Then just like I told you in the other way around, if I want to do the counting, all I need to be doing is just to be updating this place to count for average to mean. So now let's run our code and see the answer. So if you want to see the answer, let's simply call sum if as a variable name. And then sum if, spelling is not correct. So this is the answer. So what I will simply do now, if I'm also asked to perform for counting, because this is for summation. So if I'm asked to perform for counting, so let's say the question is analyze the total numbers of total number of total number of employee, total number of employee per state, sorry, per city, just like we did it, per city, and gender is female as well. So we actually want to know the total number of transactions that generated this summation. So what we are going to do here is to simply copy this same function that you have written for summation, Control C, and then paste it here, Control V. And all you need to do is just to update, because the question criteria is the same. The only thing that's different is the function you are using for your calculation. So here I am putting, I will just put counts. And once I run it, I get it. Now for me to output my answer, I will call the variable name. Call the variable name. So am I correct with the variable name? Okay, no. So this is, we have 178. So which means that this total that we generated here is responsible, or this 178 customer transaction are responsible for it. So the same thing, if I'm asked to find the average, analyze the average, of the summation results. Let's say I'm asked to analyze the average of summation results. So like this now. So the same thing, I'm going to also copy this, Control C, and then Control V. Then the only thing I will update here is the mean. We don't have average in Python. So what we use in replacing it is mean. It's mean, and then press enter. Now to see the output, you call the name of your variable, which is this. Control C as well, and then call under here, Control V, and then, so you see, so this is the average that generated this. This is the average that generated this. So that is for multiple criteria aggregation. So if we are asked to make it 3, what we are going to do is just to be updating. Let's assume that we want to analyze for 3 criteria. So that's the same way you keep increasing your criteria. Let me just show you. So the question here is, we are adding, so I will just, after the last criteria declaration, you do and again. You do and again. After and, let's say for this data, we're also placing a criteria here. The criteria we are placing here is where quantity is greater than a particular value. So what I'm going to do, I'll say and quantity. So I'm making it 3 criteria now. And quantity. Now we use greater than operator, which is this, instead of equals to. Now, if you look at the quantity range we have 7, we have 5, we have 8, we have 10. So let's say greater than 8, they are the ones we want this criteria to analyze. So if, let me change this to a different name. So let's say ifs, let me just add another S just to differentiate it from the shell. So the answer is there already. So if I want to see it now, so this is going to sum up only value in total, where transaction is equals to cash and gender is equals to male and quantity greater than 8. They are the only ones it's going to sum up. Let's see if we have value here. So she cannot, so you get it here. So that is for aggregates with more than 1 criteria. So now we want to use group by method. Group by method. Now, if you look at it now, it's just outputting one value. Let's assume that I want to analyze both the count, both the mean, both the sum at the same time. So what I'm going to do here is to involve group by, group by, group by. Now, so let me just use group by analysis. So by group by analysis, the question is, output all these results you have analyzed at once instead of analyzing them one after the other. So I'm going to use a function. So let's say what results is going to be the variable that will output the answer. That I'll call the data set name, which is DA. And then what I'm going to do here is to say dot group by is a function instead of using group by. Then inside the group by, you use by like this. By equals to, that by is to define the column that is involved that will determine the summation by group. So let's say we are using payments. We are using payments. Let's say we are using payments. So payments. Just a minute. We are using payments, and then now here let's select the column that is going to. Let's select the column. The column is the same total value. Then we are concatenating it with sum. I think there should be error. Group by. Okay, so let's check for the error. What is it say? It's a payment. Oh, my spelling of payment is not correct. So the answer is generated. So all I need to do to view my answer is to simply type results. Simply type results. Then you can see the analysis that I get here now. So it listed out cash. This is the total sum of cash based on that condition. This is just like the total transaction made by cash. The total made by this, made by this. Now, if I want to make it to display properly, I will just say dot reset. I want to put serial number dot reset underscore index, just to add to make it display properly. Underscore index. So if I run it again, you see that I have it properly arranged. I have serial number attached to it. So this is where I stop. So the next type of analysis we shall be looking at will be selection, which is going to be after selection, we look at visualization, and that is the end of it.